Thank you all very much for coming out here this morning. My name is Tony Perucci. I am the Executive Director of the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor. We are one of Pennsylvania's 6 national heritage areas and one of Pennsylvania's 12 state heritage areas. For the last 3 decades, we've been working really closely with DCNR to help preserve and celebrate the places and the resources that make this region so unique, and places that make them someplace special rather than, any old place, whatever. Over those years, one of our main projects has been sort of orchestrating the development of the D&L Trail, which runs, once complete, depending on how you look at it, I'll say it this way, from Wilkes-Barre down to Bristol, right? That's the better way of saying it rather than the other way up. Right now we have a little over 140 non-contiguous, some contiguous miles of trail already built. It's been a lot of effort and energy from partners at the state, federal, and local level. And our organization has been very privileged to try to help bring people together and advocate for this work. Today we're here to celebrate the culmination of actually 25 years of effort of building this portion of the D&L Trail, which is about 4.7 miles. I would like to thank our partners whose work made this groundbreaking possible. A lot of people, I've been doing trail work for a little over a decade, and it always surprises me, but it shouldn't, that a lot of people think it's so easy to build a trail. It's 4.7 miles through the woods, just go that way, right? In fact, we had a phone call from a local, his name is Bob, he was from here in Mountaintop, very excited about the trail being built, and he volunteered his effort with a chainsaw to come out and help break ground. Not being someone to pass up energy and support as a nonprofit executive, we've directed his energy elsewhere, but if you see someone wielding a chainsaw out here, that's just Bob, so don't worry about it. In reality, it's hard work, and it takes a lot of partners and collaboration. Federal investment, which Congressman Bresnahan will be speaking about in a moment, state partnership with DCNR, DCED, and PennDOT, which Executive Deputy Secretary of Transportation Shiflett will talk about in a moment, all very important. So too is local commitment. Hanover Township applied for the PennDOT funds and are actively involved in this project. We have with us today Commissioner Kushnowski, and we also have here representing the state representatives Paczynski and Rinkavage. Excuse me, this is coming from someone Perucci, and I think I should know how to say difficult last names. And then of course ASTA, the landowner, and the people that have really been the gadfly to get this trail developed, who were out here 25 years ago to acquire the parcels that are now going to be developed into trail, long before this date was on anyone's calendar. None of these individuals, none of these organizations by themselves can build the trail. Together, today's possible. And that collaboration, in fact, is the work that the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor exists to coordinate in the first place. We're not the funder. We're not the construction company. We're not the local government. What we are is an organization that holds the long view, that keeps the 165-mile picture in mind while a dozen different agencies and nonprofits and municipalities and community partners work to get the work done. What we are breaking ground on today is one of those pieces, and it's an especially important one. The D&L Trail, when complete, will run the 165 miles from Wilkes-Barre down to Bristol. Any way you look at it, the county here in Luzerne is one of the most important last remaining pieces of the puzzle. And this is why it's so important for us to be here today. And I want to be specific about why it matters. Over the last year, our organization's been studying what trail towns along the D&L corridor actually produce economically for their communities. The findings are actually really striking. Whitehaven, just down the line from us, saw an estimated 124,000 tourist visits last year. Those visits supported roughly $52 million in spending at local businesses. Across the last 7 years, that town alone has attracted more than $750,000 tourists, resulting in more than $323 million of tourist spending. Now, Whitehaven didn't invent itself overnight as a destination. What it has that other towns of its size might not have is a trail running through it, a handful of trail-friendly businesses that grew up around it, and community partners who are willing to make a go of it. Now, I'm not here to tell you or sell you the theory that the trail is going to bring pure economic energy to these communities. What trails represent and what outdoor recreation represents is opportunity. But it's up to us and partners that we have here to my left to really actualize it. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm very pleased to be introducing our first speaker here today. Not only is he an avid trail user himself, but has proven time and again through his legislative track record and the time that he has spent with us to meet and talk about the things that we are concerned about, that we have a strong advocate in Congress in our representative for Pennsylvania's 8th Congressional District, Congressman Rob Bresnahan.
I think my wife is giving me a sign to fix my microphone here. And also, I'd like to point out our two state representatives, Alec Rinkavich and Eddie Day. If you notice, we all dressed the same today here because
you can buy the look.
Because trails aren't partisan. And I want to say good morning and thank you all for inviting me to join you here this morning for the D&L Trail groundbreaking. This project is more than just a trail. It's an investment into the future of northeastern Pennsylvania, connecting communities, expanding outdoor recreation opportunities, supporting tourism and local businesses, and preserving an important part of our railroad and industrial history. This new 4.7-mile segment connecting Oliver Mills to Mountaintop will become part of the larger 165-mile D&L Trail system stretching towards Wilkes-Barre and Bristol while creating and reusing the former Lehigh Valley Railroad corridor. And when we think about outdoor recreation, having the opportunity of a safe place for mental health, for physical activity. When Chelsea and I were training for the New York City Marathon a few years back, we were constantly looking for new opportunities or new locations to go and explore northeastern Pennsylvania. And having a new trail, and I was a pester to my team this morning because I was hoping to wear sneakers and check out the next 4.7 miles, but the team had a pretty rigorous schedule here for us today, right, Caitlin? But this project is also a great example of what collaboration can accomplish. It took years of work and partnership between local, state, federal, and private partners to get here. This truly took a village, and we are just so happy to remain a small part, and you'll continue to have our commitment to supporting projects like this in the future. Having access to outdoor recreation is for families, it's for communities, it's for the love of spending time outdoors and embracing what northeastern Pennsylvania has to offer. They improve the quality of life, not just for the people, but for communities, because having a healthy community, having an area to gather is just so important. So continuing to support investments that benefit our community. I'm excited to see the construction get underway today. Thank you to PennDOT, thank you to all of the stakeholders that made this a reality, and congratulations for making this a reality. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Congressman. And next, I would like to welcome someone who is no novice to the challenges of multi-year, difficult projects, and who's been shown a really strong commitment to our communities that we enjoy from the state of Pennsylvania. Please join me in welcoming Executive Deputy Secretary for Transportation, Larry Shiflett.
Certainly my honor to be here. And before I get started, again, for the state representatives that are here today, thank you so much. Congressman, thank you for taking the time out of what's a crazy schedule that they built for you today. We appreciate your efforts in getting here. It's an important day for all of us. And the turnout wildly exceeded my expectations. So again, fantastic. Just shows how important a project like this is. You think of the project, it's about $2.2 million. From our Federal Transportation Alternative Set-Aside Program. And as mentioned, I see projects that are 300, 400 million, soon to be a bridge in Harrisburg that's over $1 billion, a single project. But the turnout here for 2.2 million and a TASA project to help complete this trail just says words about the region, the impact of what a trail project does. And I don't want to downplay the economic component to this. It does bring valued economic growth and sustained economic growth to the regions where the trail goes through. So again, and I'll repeat it from Wilkes-Barre to Bristol rather than the other way, but that whole corridor is going to see the benefit of just this little section of trail, not little, moderate section of trail moving forward. So again, thrilled to be here. We're thrilled that TASA, the Federal Transportation Alternative Set-Aside Program, was able to play a role in helping this. And I got to shout out Jonathan. I know he made it stuck in traffic maybe, own doing, but stuck in traffic. And April, for those who don't know April Hannon, trail guru. If I'm looking for someone in the state to go to with a question related to a trail, it's April. So you guys have an incredible resource, incredible leadership here in District 4 with Jonathan and April at the helm, helping guide all of you. So federal, state, local government, nonprofit organizations, it does take a small village, but we're happy that that village is all together on this project and we're going to be able to move the project forward. So again, thank you for having me today and congratulations.
Thank you very much. And lastly, but in fact crucially, I would like to invite someone to the podium who represents not just the landowner of this portion of the D&L Trail, but really a signature in our efforts here in Luzerne County to get this trail constructed. Please join me in welcoming Sean Robbins of the Anthracite Scenic Trails Association.
Got to put my glasses on so I can see what's going on. This is really an exciting event, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today. Tony yesterday wrote and said, I wasn't expecting to make remarks. Actually, Dick Cochran, my treasurer, I thought he was going to make the remarks. Tony sent a note yesterday with the order of proceedings, and he said, okay, you know, can you come up? I said, look, Tony, I'm running around like crazy. I don't think I'm going to have time to put anything together. Why don't you skip over us? And I drove home yesterday and thought, there's no way you can skip over the landowner. So I write back to him, and I say, I got it. Scratch my last message. I'll put something together. And he's like, yeah, all you need is about 3 minutes. And I thought to myself, I'm a lawyer, but that's my background. I don't, in the history of mankind, I don't know that a lawyer has ever stood up at a podium and limited their remarks to 3 minutes. So I've probably already spoken for 3 minutes.
Time's up.
So a little bit about ASTA. We own the trail, right? And we own trail here on the east side of the valley and on the west side of the Wyoming Valley, with the Susquehanna running down the middle. On the west side, we have the Back Mountain Trail, which most people know. That's our signature trail, and we're working on connecting the Back Mountain Trail with the Levee Trail through Edwardsville. So you're going to be able to walk, hike, bike from downtown Wilkes-Barre out to the Back Mountain. Get your Pizza Perfect pizza, which we all know and love, right? It's going to be great. On the west side, our land holdings are larger. We own a stretch of railroad corridor, former railroad corridor, that extends from Laurel Run all the way down to Middleburg Road, through here all the way down to Middleburg Road. It's about 16 to 17-ish miles, and Andy Strauss could probably put a number on that. He was instrumental in helping us acquire that land many years ago. It's about 16 or 17 miles. And our signature trail in this area is the Black Diamond Trail, which many of you know. And it connects Mountaintop with the Lehigh Gorge. The last time we were here for a groundbreaking was in this area for the Black Diamond Trail. That was approximately 15 years ago. Okay? So this is a big deal. Trail building moves at a glacial pace. It does not happen quickly. And for a trail organization, one of the most rewarding tasks or accomplishments is to build more trail. You have your mundane sort of day-to-day trail maintenance activities, but building more trail is really where it's at. That's where the rewarding work is. And you have a sense of how significant this is when you're in the middle of that process, because you know what it takes to acquire land, to do all the deed research, to raise the money, to do the feasibility studies, to do the design, to do the engineering, and finally get to the permitting, and finally to get to construction. Our organization is all volunteer. This is truly a labor of love. And make no mistake, Larry spoke about the enormous grants that PennDOT is responsible for administering, but this $2 million is that's a big chunk of money for us. We do a lot of local fundraising and we hold our organization together, but to undertake a project like this, with this kind of equipment involved, this kind of construction, it takes big money for us. And that $2 million is big money. So we thank PennDOT, we thank the state representatives, we thank Congressman Bresnahan's office for that support, because it's absolutely critical to making these projects move forward. If we don't have that kind of money and we depend on our own fundraising efforts, it's not 15 years between putting shovels in the ground. It's 30 years, 40 years by the time we raise that kind of money. So that is absolutely critical. And it's an investment in our communities, right? There are health and wellness benefits. There are historical preservation benefits. There are environmental protection benefits, overall quality of life benefits, and this, make no mistake, is an economic driver for this area. People will come to Wilkes-Barre, stay in our hotels, spend money in our restaurants, spend money in our bars, our bike shops, to ride, hike, walk this trail. That will happen. And a project like this doesn't happen with ASTA alone. We've got critical partners that make it happen. So I just want to say a couple thank yous before I go well beyond my 3 minutes. I want to thank, in no particular order, with the exception of these two at the very beginning, Judy and David Rimple. They are the founders of Anthracite Scenic Trails Association. Right? We would not be here without them. It was their vision that brought us to this point. PennDOT, Larry, April, they have been critical partners in getting the funding we need for a project like this. DCNR, Christine, Secretary Dunn, Lauren, all of their help in getting the necessary funding for a project like this. They get the big picture. They see the trail network in this area and its significance. Think of the D&L Trail as the main artery that runs into downtown Wilkes-Barre, and then you have spur trails off of that, like the Back Mountain Trail, the Susquehanna Warrior Trail, the Levee Trail. So this is an artery that builds other trails and other economic development, and they get that picture. Hanover Township, we approached them about being a municipal sponsor, and they were on board. And in this day and age, when municipalities are reluctant to take on additional projects, that was huge. That was huge. That got us here. Dick Cochran, our treasurer. I'm the figurehead. Dick is the boots on the ground guy who gets this stuff done. He's not here today, but he was instrumental in moving this project forward. The D&L, Tony, Liz Rosenkrantz, the D&L board, Dick, Joe, Andy, all huge supporters that make this possible. Andy Strauss. Andy did all the title work for this 17 miles that we own up here. The deeds, the research, the complexities, the hours. We wouldn't be here without Andy. Nick Lilo, he's our neighbor. DCNR Forestry, he's a good neighbor. He's a great partner. I've been at I don't know how many meetings with Nick to talk about this entire stretch of trail. And I think I told him at a Pennsylvania Environmental Council event back in October that he wasn't allowed to retire. So he's not allowed to retire. His wife's probably mad at me. And the state representatives, the representatives, Representative Pruszynski, Representative Bresnahan. We thank all of you guys for the work that you do, the work that has helped support us to get us to this place. This is a fantastic project. We're not done. We have the Oliver Mills crossing just down the road that is a huge hurdle to building this contiguous trail into downtown Wilkes-Barre. So when we get this done, we're on to the next. It's an ongoing project. But now, today, we celebrate breaking ground on being 5 miles closer to that trail marker that sits at the corner of Northampton and River Street in downtown Wilkes-Barre, marking the northern terminus of the D&L Trail. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you all very much for coming here, and I just want to reiterate how important, I mean, you've heard it from everyone up here at the podium. This is a collective effort. This is an effort of partners. This is an effort of people who we don't have time or space to name. This is an effort that spans decades, and it's not done. You can see here our plans for how we intend to get to that important mile marker in Northern Terminus. This is not set in stone. This is not a guarantee. This is only going to be achieved through the hard work and dedication of partners like we have here today, and probably more. Our organization is about bringing more people to the table to get the work done more efficiently and quicker, including the bobs that are wielding chainsaws out here in the wilderness, right? Anyone and everyone's welcome to our table. So we have a few minutes for any questions that folks might have of any of the speakers, and then we'll go ahead and do our photo opportunity. So I open it to anyone who's here who might have questions, particularly anyone from the press.
Where does this section start? Back.
John? You want to come up here and talk about the section where it starts?
Where does this new
Yes.
section start, Sean?
So we have so this section right down here where you see this heavy equipment
Oh,
behind
it's
us.
going to start that to go down.
Yes, well, yeah, we're going to start from here, go down this way. This section right in here was developed years ago when we did the Black Diamond because we had funding in place to do it, but it dead ends. So we have some hurdles between here and our trailhead along 437.
But I've been talking about the dirt road that goes up to Crystal Lake. Are you guys starting from that? No?
No, we'll
Then
start
how far is it exactly that you guys have measured from here down to the turnaround?
down to Laurel Run.
Yeah, to where you're going to end.
It's just under 5 miles.
One
And-
way?
One way. And then when we hit that, we're on one side of the railroad tracks, and Nick's piece now has been transferred. Well, Ellen Ferretti was instrumental and North Branch, they were instrumental in developing that piece of trail on the opposite side, and they transferred it over to DCNR Forestry. So our trail comes down on one side of the railroad tracks, and their trail comes up the other side. We've got to get over those railroad tracks.
There
in
used to
Laurel
be a rubber crossing there when I was younger. I
Yeah,
used to go across it all the time.
well,
Tracks and highway.
tracks and highway, a bridge. It's a complicated
Yeah.
rat's nest that is going to take a lot of money and resources to figure out. It's a huge hurdle in closing the gap in Luzerne County. And it's next. The low-hanging fruit has been picked for the most part. Now it's the harder stuff.
Is this the parking area to start?
So we have a separate trailhead project that's separate from this project. We separated the trailhead out from this project, and we have to make some arrangements to get that trailhead in place. We're working on that now.
What are we thinking for a timeline as far as?
Timeline for the trailhead?
Yeah, like getting people out on the trail.
Oh, for this particular project, shooting for end of summer. Trailhead's going to take a little bit longer.
Beyond the Cubs, just so everybody knows, North Branch Land Trust still owns a section of the D&L. Department of Environmental Protection, Bureau of Abandoned Mine Land Reclamation has a grant to build it. I'm not sure when that is going out to bid. When it goes out to bid, it'll get built, but how does that fit in, Sean? Will that section be needed to bring you to Wilkes-Barre?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So, let me orient myself. Okay. Yes. So the section of trail that we're talking about here, that we're here to celebrate today, Christine's helping me out, that we're here to break ground on today, is this blue section, right? The section that North Branch developed is the next section. Laurel Run is the problem area where we have difficulty crossing the railroad tracks. That's our big hurdle in this area. After Laurel Run, there's kind of a green section. I don't know if you can all see it back there, but there's like a greenish yellow section that goes around. This was developed by North Branch Land Trust years ago and is basically an orphan section of trail because we can't get across this Laurel Run crossing. Our trail, the blue part, is going to end here. North Branch picks up on the other side. The Laurel Run crossing is, the D&L has been referring to it as the golden spike. I think it is. After that, there's a pink section. That pink section is being developed by DEP, Bureau of Abandoned Mines. Alan is correct. They have been working on bidding that project. I work for DEP. BAMR's separate from us. I asked them, and they've got a bunch of projects in this area. It's the anthracite area. They're busy. They've got a lot of abandoned mine reclamation projects. This fits under that umbrella. They're working on it. Every time I ask them, yes, Sean, we're working on it. We're trying to get there. So, we're going to stitch all these sections together. We're basically chipping away at them one block at a time.
And the plan to figure out how to go from the Susquehanna River to just the base of Giant's Despair has just been kicked off. And that will hopefully, fingers crossed, be the final planning study of the D&L Trail.
When all the work is all done, who maintains this?
Good question. So Christy Joseph was here before. I don't know if she's still there. She is in the back. So I think I started by saying ASTA, our organization, has holdings on the west side of the river and holdings on the east side of the river. We're on the east side. On the west side, we have a pretty well-developed trail council, and our land holdings, as I said, are smaller. So we have a trail council, all volunteers. They go out, they maintain the trail. Tree falls down, they go out and cut it up. Drainage problem, they go out and fix it, right? We had a trail council up here just prior to the development of the Black Diamond Trail 15 years ago, and it kind of faded away with the development of the Black Diamond Trail. Hondo, gentleman in the back with the hat on, he was our remaining trail council, dedicated trail council member with ASTA. He's been holding down the fort up in the mountaintop area for years, 15 plus years. Christy, big fan of the trails, lover of the Black Diamond Trail, has taken the yoke of developing a trail council up in this area, and she's been very successful at it. She's been organizing a trail council up here. So, and Dick Hughes is one of our big volunteers, actually. He goes out and does a lot of work on the trail whenever we have a tree down, it's mowing, etc. So it's all volunteer. And that's a big concern of ours. As we build more trail, we got to figure out a way to maintain it. We had discussions years ago with Nick about turning it over to forestry, and was that an option? We went back and forth on that. It's a consideration. Short answer, right now we're relying on volunteers. Long-term response, it's something we really need to think about.